Happy Tuesday. Hello, everyone. I'm going to give a chance for everybody to come on in. Hello. Hey, ladies.
Hello.
It is Tuesday. How are you ladies doing this fine Tuesday?
Good. How about you?
Girl, I'm all right over here in these streets. Yes, in Texas, I am good. What about you, Dr. Bailey?
I am good. I'm gonna say good. I'm good.
Did you get
It is
snow?
well. It is well. How what's the weather like though over there? Because the weather here has been ugly.
Wait, well, let's see, what time is it? So, because it could be something totally different than it was about an hour ago. So, but it's pretty good. It looks really pretty outside. I have not been outside on today. Yeah, I just haven't been outdoors, but it's been up and down here in Texas. We have a winter storm going on in some parts of Texas. The other parts are sunshines and rainbows. So yeah, it's been really different here. What about you in Georgia?
Just rain. Lots and lots of just constant downpour has been here the last couple days. And I
That's
think
how we were last week.
yeah, I think you know how we warriors we can feel that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's part of it. Plus, I just got out the hospital, as y'all know. But
She
man,
broke out.
I broke out.
Well,
What
it
about
snowed here in New York.
Wait, snow?
Yes, it snowed, and it wasn't like the the pretty snow where it's like that dry snow. It was that wet snow. Like Styles woke me up and was like, "It's snowing." He went outside. I was like, "No, it's raining snow." So it wasn't really snowing; it was raining snow. But
You
school
all
was a little
excited
bit.
and you just bust that man's bubble.
I didn't bust anything. The sky did. He was not supposed to play in it.
She said, clear.
That wasn't my fault.
Oh, that is funny. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us today. We are not going to be before you very, very long. However, there is a conversation to be had on today. There has been many, many questions about credentialing. What is credentialing? Becoming a partner. What does that mean to become a partner? What does it mean? Let's have a conversation about it. Well, we have our very own Dr. Lakia Bailey here, and she is going to go into those details. So get ready to ask all your questions in the chat. Now, we may not be able to get to every last one of them, but please go ahead and put those in the chat. I know that everyone is trying to prepare, or you're already eating your dinner for tonight. So make sure you sit back, relax, get you something to hydrate yourself. Again, we're not going to be very long, but we would love to hear your questions. And Dr. Bailey is going to come and make sure that you have a lot of your questions answered on tonight. So it is going to be a good chat. Now, you know, Dr. Bailey, if you know her, she is what Dominique calls her affectionately, our pocket nerd. So you know, sometimes when we have our lives, Dr. Bailey like spits out these incredible, just really weird but incredible facts that she knows. Tonight is not going to be that night unless y'all push her to give her an incredible fact. But I'm trying to get Dr. Bailey to do a segment where she just gives us like really weird facts that nobody thinks about but are very interesting. So, you know, put it in the chat if you want to hear those different facts and stuff, because I'm trying to push Dr. Bailey into doing something because her facts are always so funny and so cool.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah,
I'm sharing this on Facebook. So that's why I'm looking down at my phone to try to click share onto my personal page. I think I just did it. I have taken that a step further in my brain, and I've wondered if anybody would also be interested in. I know you want me to do this random thing like once a month or once a however often. And I get this thing called the Curiosity Box, which just FYI, y'all warriors, if you're anything like me, do not shop when you're in the hospital because you end up buying random things that you don't remember buying. But it's very cool. The Curiosity Box comes with like just really neat stuff that's in it, like random nerdy things that I really enjoy. But I've wondered how many people would be interested in a box like that, just full of all the random weirdness that I am into, to go with that random nerd pocket nerd fact thing. Anyway, in my brain, I've taken it a step further to I wonder would people actually be interested in hearing the way my brain works, like seeing it on the outside.
Would,
Frighten people.
I would.
would. Did that answer your question? Because would. Y'all, what about y'all? Would y'all be interested in knowing that? Put it in the chat, yes or no. Don't put no, just put yes. All yes. Thank you. I would appreciate it. So Dr. Bailey, I say yes, but I would love to make sure that we are talking to you a little bit tonight about credentialing and partnering with the consortium. What does that look like? And of course, me and Dominique are here on the back end where we'll be answering questions through the chat. But we are going to give Dr. Bailey some space so that she can kind of go into what that looks like, what credentialing is, because everybody wants to know the word credentialing. What does that mean? And then what does it mean to partner with the consortium?
Awesome. I will be very happy to do that. I have posted this to my page as well, I believe. So I think that's done. And so partnering, this is the 8th annual Leadership Summit coming up. We've been doing this for 8 years. I can't even believe it that it's been 8 years. I know some of you know that it was the 10th year of the convention, and you wonder how that works, but the convention predates the consortium. And so we have been doing this for 8 years, and partnership is the way the Sickle Cell Community Consortium works. You'll see us listed as SC3 or just Sickle Cell Consortium. And it is, it's not member based. It's partners. We partner with other organizations, with patients, caregivers, those that are leaders in this space, community partners. There's lots of designations of partnership. And the goal is to come together as a collective community to pick our brains, to figure out the problems, needs, and gaps in the sickle cell space, and then to figure out ways to address those goals, to address those needs, to figure out projects, platforms, initiatives. And they are patients or caregiver centered. So every project, platform, or initiative has a patient or a caregiver at the center, along with multiple community-based organizations working collectively to address whatever was identified. So someone says something like, this is a need in the community. I think this is something we should collectively work on as a collective nation. And it goes on the docket. The docket opens this week, actually, for partners to place things on the docket. And then we are going to categorize them. And every even year, and this is an even year convention, caregiver leadership summit. Listen to me, we do too much. We do a lot of things, but this is the leadership summit I'm referencing. Even year, on even years, we debate the docket. And then we figure out the top 3 priorities. Everyone votes. All votes are counted equally. And that, because votes are counted equally, is one of the reasons why the deadline to become a partner has been extended. And I'll tell you about that. And then the top 3, we become priorities for the next 2 years. And sometimes much longer than that. Sometimes something that was put on the docket becomes a part of our internal structure. And it's something we do from there on out, like the Men's Track at Convention or the Mental Health and Wellness Initiative. Those both started as items on the docket that now are things that are just a continuous part of the consortium. Other things, they are created, funded, delivered, and it's done. Here's the project that was voted on. And sometimes you need more time. So we have all 3 of our initiatives from 2022 are being extended. They've been working on them. They've had lots of things happening, but there's more to it. And so they're all being extended another year and potentially longer, depending on how long it takes and what all they do. But all this we discuss at the Leadership Summit. We do the business meeting. Now it's been divided in 2, so that part 2 of the docket, which is the business docket side, gets done at the part 2 of the General Assembly meeting, which will occur in early October. But the other part of the business meeting will happen at the Leadership Summit. This is an election year, so President and Secretary of the General Assembly Nominations are open for partners. If you're a partner and you're watching, please complete the form. And if you want to nominate a president or a secretary of the General Assembly, these are stipend roles, positions. And there's like sort of expectations and all of that. And it's outlined on the nomination form if you need to remind yourself. Although if you are a partner, you have access to your partner briefcase, which has our guidance documents and all that information in it, including the roles and how much is the stipend for positions and things like that. Okay. The Leadership Summit has been happening now. We're going into our 8th year. It is always in Atlanta, Georgia. And partners are the group that collectively make up the General Assembly. You've heard me reference the General Assembly. What that is the Sickle Cell Consortium was patterned to be designed a little bit like the United Nations, so that with the United Nations, multiple countries, they come together, they form a General Assembly of the United Nations, and they debate global initiatives and global issues. And they each retain their individual country's autonomy. It's the same thing with the consortium. Multiple different community-based organizations throughout the country and now the world. We opened last year to the international partners, and we have 17 international partners. Last time I looked, 17, yes. 40 organizations, 17 community-based orgs, I think, or 18, somewhere around there, less than 20. And we are all of these organizations now retain their individual autonomy. So they are not controlled or ran by the consortium. The only laws that they have to follow of the consortiums is the code of conduct to remain a partner. And there are certain rules of participation to remain an active partner. We ask that everyone attend the Leadership Summit. This is the foremost meeting of the General Assembly. So we ask that all partners attend. Because we ask all partners to attend, we make it as financially affordable as our budget allows us to, which means we cover the cost of the hotel stay. We reimburse travel up to a certain amount. I think it's $300 per delegate, up to $500 domestic, up to $2,500 for 2 delegates internationally. Like we reimburse travel, we cover the hotel, several of the meals and things like that, because it is a very important meeting, and we ask that all partners attend. And there are certain requirements, but it does not dictate the running of any individual organization. So that's what I mean when I say, and each organization retains its autonomy. Now, in addition to organizations, and there are several classifications, community-based orgs, these are 501c3 organizations that have a mission that is in line with the mission of the consortium for sickle cell disease. And then there's the community partners. These might not be 501c3. They could be a 501c3 that's not specific to sickle cell, but includes sickle cell. So one community partner that fits that category is Be the Match. They are a community partner with the consortium. Or it could be a 501c3. I mean, it could be a for-profit entity that is dedicated to sickle cell disease in some capacity. So Clayton Andrews has a mental health and wellness, or Carly Cavens. There's different organizations that are for-profit but are dedicated to sickle cell in some capacity. Cleverly Changing. They are community partners. Then we have junior CBOs. These are organizations that are not yet 501c3, but are committed to becoming a 501c3 within the next 2 to 3 years. And we provide resources to sort of assist in that and knowledge to help along that journey. The organization does have to become a full CBO within that 2 to 3 years, or they will drop off and have to create a new plan for autonomy, for obtaining autonomy. And then there's also SPOs. These are sponsored patient organizations. These are things like groups that might be ran by hospitals or clinics, or support groups, or something ran by parents that have no intention of becoming a 501c3. That is not their goal, but they are active and doing work in the sickle cell space. Then, of course, we have our international CBOs. So there's domestic and international. There's community partners. There's junior CBOs and SPOs. And all of these collectively are organizations. And so they have their group organization priorities in mind. To balance that out, we also partner with what we call IPCAs. This stands for Independent Patient Caregiver Advocates. These are patients and caregivers, individuals living with sickle cell disease or our caregivers, who are also active educators. They're active in the legislative space. They're active in the advocacy world. They're going to their church and health fairs, and they're doing all of this in sickle cell, or they are actively in the process of becoming an active advocate. And we assist in that area as well. And so they have a advocacy resume. Last year's Leadership Summit, I taught a class on developing it. In the past years, we've taught like where to find things to put on your advocacy resume and how to become more active. I think Heather Avant may have taught that once. I feel like Dima may have assisted in that as well. But we have done some, just training to help people become active advocates, because we want to balance this out. What it means is community organizations, like all the ones I've named, we try very hard to have an equal number of patients and caregivers so that the voice of the independent patient and caregiver, and the word independent means that these people also must not be part of the executive leadership of an existing CBO. If so, they have to be a delegate of that CBO with the consortium. You can't wear two hats. So you're either they're representing a delegate of your organization as a delegate of your org, or you're independent and not part of the executive leadership of an organization. And so these independent patients and caregivers who are out there actively doing work in their space, but may not be connected to an org, or they might be connected to an org, but not part of the executive leadership. They're not part of the decision-making body of that organization. They form the independent half, the independent patients and caregivers. We try to make those balance out. We've grown substantially so that there are 65 organizational partners now. I think like there's 40 domestic CBOs, nearly 20, 17 or 18 international ones. I think we've got 5 community partners, and all these groups total up to 65. And so it is our goal to have at least a close to equal number of IPCAs. Now, we really want to make sure that it's the CBOs and the IPCAs that are equally matched. And so we're much closer there. But when you look at all organizations collectively, there are 65 partners as of right now, which means we ideally would like 65 independent voices to match that, so that their voice equals out in the voting and all kinds of things we do, because everyone's vote is counted equally. Small community-based orgs who might work entirely through social media and not have a staff, but a couple of volunteers, all the way to those that are large federal funds and are getting $1 million federal grants with a staff and everything. Their votes are still equal. They're both partners. Their votes are equal, and it's also equal to the independent patient and caregiver. And so we try to weigh those out, which is the main reason why the deadline has been extended to this Friday to become a partner. Now, it's open to CBOs as well, and all the different designations. But our goal right now is to reach out and connect with more independent patient caregiver voices, because we have probably about 40 thereabouts. There's usually somewhere between 40 to 50. But if we want to really equal it out, we need about 65 to make an equal balance for the independent voices. That is why I'm here today, to talk to you all and to answer any questions anyone might have about the Sickle Cell Consortium, about what partnership is and what it means, and how to become a partner, which that's the overview. And I imagine probably Dominique Sharonda will be coming back now so that we can take on the questions and just really get into how to partner. Dominique was formerly and previously handled credentialing. That has now gone to a credentialing manager. And that's also some of the things that's constantly changing. Listen, when I was coming up with this idea for the consortium, I will be the first to tell you I was making it up. I do not have a blueprint that I was following for this other than the basic blueprint of the United Nations. And so credentialing was once one of our infrastructure committees, but it became abundantly clear very early on that we needed to make that somebody's job. And so that is now a position that is held by Rose Bailey Millard. And you all, if you're partners, you've probably gotten a phone call from her over the last year, for various reasons, and she is that credentialing specialist. Dominique, however, is the excellent extraordinaire of all things. Formally, though, she did a lot of the credentialing and can talk more about how to become a partner. What does that look like? And it's a pretty simple process of completing an application just to verify that you are, in fact, if you're a nonprofit, that you are, in good standing with the IRS, that you are, if you're raising money for sickle cell, you're actually doing something for sickle cell with those funds. And that there's no basic issues with, and there's never been, other than 2 cases where, back when I used to do credentialing, there was 2 cases where, in both cases, but in very different ways, they were raising money for sickle cell, but were doing absolutely nothing for sickle cell with those funds. And one, it was being funneled into her private business, and in the other, all that funds went to cancer. So those 2 were unable to partner because they were not, they didn't follow that part of the guidelines, that if you're raising money in the name of sickle cell, you have to do things for sickle cell with the majority of those funds. Okay. So I don't know, Dominique, if there's anything you want to add there about partnering and what that looks like.
So I think you pretty much covered the majority of it. I do want to let people know that for CBOs, we are accepting, and we have in the past, like as Dr. Bailey said, community based organizations or community partners that, and I believe we said that we were going to open it up for other organizations that want to be community partners. So if small businesses want to join a community partner and be as part of their it's on the tip of my tongue, just giving back to the community, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what project do I want to work on? We accept small businesses as our community partners also. And it doesn't necessarily have to do with sickle cell. If you're a small business where you make your own lotions or whatever, and you want to give back to a specific community, and you want to join the Sickle Cell Consortium, you are able to join us and be a part of the Sickle Cell Consortium. It's a really good experience. And we, as the Sickle Cell Consortium, love to support our partners. Community-based organizations, CBOs, IPCA, we love supporting them in all their endeavors. We have absolutely amazing and talented partners. And so we're just looking to also expand and not just look at who's in the sickle cell community. Although, we love our sickle cell community. But if there's small businesses out there that wants to be a part, even large businesses that want to be a part and give back to a community and be a part of the consortium, you are open to credential with us and be a partner. Now, there are certain things as partners that we do expect our partners to be a part of. And first and foremost is our code of conduct. With every organization, we do have a code of conduct. And it's just making sure that you pay the respect to everyone as you want to be respected, essentially.
Essentially, that is the basis of it. It's behavior towards each other is a large part of that code of conduct. And I know I mentioned it earlier in passing about that code of conduct, but I really do think that it's really about appropriate treatment of each other. There's a large part of that code of conduct.
It is. And that's because we consider ourselves, because sickle cell is such a small community, we consider ourselves family, and we don't want anyone to feel disrespected or feel bad or bullied or anything. We do not tolerate bullying. We do not tolerate harassment. We do not tolerate foul language or anything that is deemed disrespectful to the community or to another person in the community. We all believe there are ways to work out our differences without being negative, especially because sometimes sickle cell patients are painted in a very negative light. And so we're trying to squash that. So we do ask for partners that are joining to please read the code of conduct and make sure that you'll be able to follow that code of conduct. It's very important.
And if you want to see it now, you can actually go to Sickle Cell Events and I think it's just /guidelines. I need to double check, but at sicklecellevents.org, a lot of the policies are on there. There's a code of conduct for our partners, and there's a separate code of conduct for events. If you've ever been to our event, then you sign a code of conduct for events and that behavior. But there's one that's for partners. A couple of years ago, we added a cyber category to it, and it was just because we were advised by the General Assembly to add things about cyberbullying and behavior on social media and things like that. But it is very general, and you can review it. I believe it's at sicklecellevents.org/guidelines.
And we'll find that and put it inside the chat. And you are correct, Dr. Bailey, about that. So please make sure you review the code of conduct. The next thing as our partner that we ask our partners to do is we have infrastructure committees. I believe there are 10 now. No, they're down to 8, correct? It's down to 8 infrastructure committees. We're
they're still hanging tough at 10 infrastructure committees.
Okay. So we have 10 infrastructure committees, and these committees vary from public relations to legislation to
media marketing,
to education,
family advisory board.
And we ask our partners to sit on one of these infrastructure committees. And these committees are important because it involves things that are happening in the sickle cell community. Take public relations for instance. I know a few months back there was like this big uproar about the Saturday Night Live skit that was about sickle cell and gene therapy. That is something our public relations team will handle. So they would meet and discuss whether we should put out a statement or whatever. Then we have the Family and Patient Advisory Board, where they focus on patients and families and their needs. We have the ERT, where they focus on emergency services for sickle cell patients and families. These committees are very important, and we ask that you sit on them because we need warriors and people in the community that knows what's going out in the community. We just don't want to put people that don't know anything about sickle cell and say, hey, we need X, Y, D, this, and this, and they don't know nothing about sickle cell. We want our partners to tell us what it is that they want or they think should be put out or think they should say, or even like with our legislation committee. So we do ask you guys to sit on one of the infrastructure committees. The other thing we do ask you to attend is we have the leadership assembly, and we have general assembly meetings. We do ask that you attend the general assembly meetings, at least one of them. We split them up into 2. One is being held at Leadership Summit, and then one is later in the year towards October, if I'm not mistaken. We do ask you guys to show up to one of those. It's very important because that is where
honestly, we asked you to be at both because they're both incredibly important. One does one docket, the other does the other, and we need a quorum to do votes. So we ask you to prioritize both. One is in person and one is virtual, although the in-person one now is hybrid. The pandemic brought some new changes, and it's streamed. I won't say hybrid, it's streamed. Our convention is a true hybrid meeting, but the Leadership Summit is streamed so that you can view it and participate in votes if you are not physically there. Okay, sorry. But yes, we do. You can miss the second, but we ask that you please prioritize being in both.
Yes. And so there are other things. We also have lots of other things that is a part of being a partner. Last year we implemented active general partnerships. And so anyone that is a new partner that credentials this year, you automatically come in as active. And then as being active, you just have to keep your active status. And the way you do that is attending those infrastructure committees. We have first partner meetings. Those are not mandatory. However, you do get points for attending the first partner meetings, attending the Leadership Summit, attending the General Assembly meetings. attending the Warriors Convention. There are a lot of things throughout the entire year that we have where you get points and remain active. So we do have active and we have general status when it comes to being a partner. Active just means that you have been active throughout the entire year with the consortium. You did at least, I want to say, was it? I think it was
This
like
year, the numbers was like there was like 110 total points for different things, giving out scholarships. There's like other ways we give out grants and participation and activity and all kinds of different things counted, and there was like 110 points total, and anyone that came in with 50 points or more was classified as active this year. And we were quite lenient, largely because this was the first year doing active in general. And so it was just basically those that really didn't participate in very much of anything at all that did not get classified as active this year. And one of the reasons I think we do that is because we also give out a lot of perks. There's a lot of benefits to being a partner, including scholarships to attend the convention, the leadership summit, us covering so much of the expense, free classes, lots of training. There's so much that comes with it, access to discounts with a lot of our external partnerships, from building your website to reviewing your marketing plans. There's so many different discounts and things that we offer as perks of sort of benefits of being a partner. And it was decided by the executive committee, which is formed of heads of each infrastructure committee and the General Assembly president and secretary, that and I fully agree that it defeated the purpose to continue to offer all of these benefits to those that don't actually do anything. They only come to the leadership summit, sort of treat it as a free meeting, and then do nothing else all year. That for us, extending all of these benefits and perks and all of this money for those that aren't actually true partners. And that's where Active in General came from. It was because of a need to recognize those that are actively participating in the work that we do, and coming up with priorities and helping us design solutions to problems and needs and gaps. It's more than just saying, hey, that's an issue, I'm voting for it. We then need labor to get the solution developed, funded, and executed. So that's largely where that came from. And it is because of all of the benefits. And it's pretty.
It's a lot of benefits that there are a lot of perks that we give. We give micro grants throughout the year. We provide partner only education where we're teaching our partners how to creative content, everything they need to know about this new world of AI technology and creative content and managing their website and Canva and everything, which Sharonda is an absolutely genius with that, to classes where we're teaching how to build your infrastructure, how to put on a event like the Warriors Convention, how to put on a blood drive, how to reconcile with sponsorships, how to get sponsors.
How to get sponsors. That was a good series.
It really was. It really was. We might have to do that one again.
We should do that one again.
But these classes are partner only, and it's because it's such great information. And a lot of the times we give our contacts as a consortium to our partners so that, because we don't believe in gatekeeping over here. We want to see you eat. If we eat, and we want to see you eat too. So we don't believe in gatekeeping. And so in those meetings, which is partners only, they're not streamed to Facebook Live like some of our Warrior University classes. It's partners only. We give out pertinent information to make sure that our CBOs, that our IPCAs are able to better themselves and get what they deserve in this community, especially with the IPCAs. One of the classes that was taught was negotiating with industry. Like, what should my fee be for speaking or attending a advisory board? Those are pertinent information that we give to our partners. We give out a lot of stuff to our partners, and it benefits them, and they love it. It benefits us too, but it really benefits them. And so we want to make sure that our partners are participating in the events that we do throughout the year. So that is why we did active in general as well.
Yeah. And what Dominique mentioned about, we really are that transparent. So the people, the partners that attended that class, they got our entire funding list. How to contact them, email addresses. I gave them the template of how we create our sponsorship requests, all the way down to here's everybody that sponsors us, and here's how we ask, and here are the things that they want. We are that transparent. There's a sort of a skill to this, to recognizing how to get things funded. And we have learned it over the years. This team, we've learned how to get things funded. It's a good problem to have. And it's the problem, I call it a problem, is that, now we are constantly being asked, what are you all doing? We want to fund it. Send us the prospectus, send us this. And this team being so amazing helped me, because I've been in the hospital to get that prospectus done and get it sent out, because you really want to get it 60 to 90 days ahead. Okay, I'm not going to go into that class. There's a lot to share, but they helped me get it all done. And I felt so bad because all of industry is asking, hey, we want to fund this. What's going on? What's going on? They've called, they've sent text messages, and it's a good problem to have, but there is a skill to that. And we share all of that information with our partners, and we really are that transparent, to the extent that there are certain members of the board that are like, do we have to be this transparent all the time? But I think it's important, because it's never hurt us by sharing who is funding what. It might mean that industry, so if we're getting something from pharmaceutical A, we now share their contact and what they fund with all of our partners. And now, there's 65 organizations. What that means is pharmaceutical A will end up giving us less. But that also means pharmaceutical Y tends to pop out of the woodwork and like, hey, what are y'all doing? We want some of that. And it has never hurt us to be transparent. It just means that we end up having to get more sponsors in, and it's always happened. We've had industry that we never went after, but just come to us. Like, look, I said, I have tried to contact you. We had a company that did this a couple of years back. They said, I have tried contacting you for years to sponsor this convention. You never respond. And I didn't realize that I should have been just saying something, but in the early years, I was told that this particular industry company only funded one major entity a year per disease. And I knew that they funded SCDAA. So there was no way I was going to ask for funds if they had already chosen their organization for this disease. It turns out, though, that they had changed that rule like a couple years back, but I didn't know it. So whenever they would ask me for the prospectus, I didn't send it. They came after us. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is because being transparent has not hurt us in the long run, at least not in that way, not when it comes to funding. Now, people like taking our ideas and running with it. That has happened a couple of times. I've seen things that I've written, including my typos, in other people's proposals. I'm like, my guy, you could have just asked. We could have. But anyway, that's a different conversation. This is what I'm talking about. Too transparent. I guarantee you there are members of the board listening to this like, Lakia, shut up. Sorry. But it's not hurt us in a financial way. It's not.
And it helps our partners.
And it helps.
It helps our partners. Like I said, we as a consortium, we don't gatekeep. We like to make sure that you guys are getting funding as well, because we can't be in every state, in every place where sickle cell warriors in the community is. And so being as our partners, you guys are in those communities. You're out there in those communities. And so if we're able to help get your blood drive funded or your walk funded, we are happy and glad to do so. And this is why it's important to be partners with the consortium. We do great work, and we do even better work together. So I do want to let you guys know how to partner. Yes. So you are going to go to www.tinyurl.com/credentialing2024. And we're going to put that up there. It should also be inside the chat. You are going to go there, and you are going to click on the link, and you're going to pick which category you best fit in, whether that is community-based organization, junior CBO, international, and yes, we do accept international nonprofit organizations. If you're an international nonprofit, whether you are a patient or caregiver, you will select independent patient or caregiver. We are also accepting the little ones. So we have Next Generation. If we have any children or young adults under the 22 and under, we have Next Generation for them. So you're going to pick which one you want, and you're going to fill out that application and supply the information that is requested. Now,
hold on. There's two little things. Let me add real quick to that. And you actually might be about to say it. I'm sorry. It is that internationally, that is only to community-based orgs. We are not currently accepting international IPCAs. And internationally, you do have to have someone in a decision-making position that can read, write, and speak English. I did not make that clarification last year. And fortunately, we happen to have fluent Spanish on our team. But just as an FYI, we're American. Most of us are not bilingual. And we do need you to be able to speak English for now. We're working on it as an international partner. And if you are joining us as a next gen, as a young warrior advocate under age 17 and under, you do need to also partner with a caregiver, a parent, a guardian who will partner with you and be able to attend the meetings with you up until age 17. At age 17 and up, then that requirement no longer exists. Okay.
Yep. And I was actually just about to say that when you said about IPCAs and that we are not accepting IPCAs international. So, yeah. So you want to make sure you go there and you fill out the application. If there's at any point that you get stuck because January, I'm sorry, I went back a month. February 16th is the deadline to submit your credential application to get financial support to attend the Leadership Summit. Because this is only about 3 days away, once you submit your once you're filling out your application, if you have any questions in regards to the application and what something is, and you have to upload something, just upload a sheet that says "We'll upload later," have questions, and still submit it, because then you will get an email from us saying, "Hey, we didn't get this information," but you will be able to say you submitted it and that you submitted it on time, so you will be able to get financial support to attend the summit. You just have to get the rest of your information in afterwards. So
and
make sure.
Add one clarification there, and that is in regards to the 990 requirement for community-based organizations. We know that you haven't filed your taxes yet for 2024. We're not asking for proof of 990 for the current fiscal year. It's actually just that you filed last year. And so I know that I've noticed that some are saying, we don't have this yet, but that isn't for the current fiscal year. So just upload proof of filing for 2023. And it doesn't have to be the actual 990. I know a lot of that is uploaded and it's available online, but that isn't something that we need. It can just be that email confirmation, that letter of confirmation, or whatever you received saying from the IRS that you did file, but for last year, not for the current fiscal year.
Yep.
2022. Sorry. It's 2022. You haven't filed yet for 2023. That's not due yet. So we need it for 2022, not 2023. There we go. I got there.
There it is. So if you don't have it, just remember, just upload it or put "we'll submit later," then send emails over to credentialing so we can answer your questions. But it's important to get it in because February 16th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, credentialing. It's important to know that credentialing is all year round. So you could credential all year round. However, credentialing to get financial support to attend the Leadership Summit ends February 16th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So you must and you must get it in credential before February 16th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern.
Exactly.
Okay.
And partnership in general, like Dominique said, is rolling. That is something that you can do all year. But to get your information in order to be counted to attend the leadership summit for this year, you must have it in. And as I said, if you're a new partner, IPCA, a new IPCA, if you're a new CBO, as Dominique also mentioned, you're classified as active. We help with a lot of the expense, but you do have to have completed everything by Friday.
Yeah. I think that was everything. We do have one question inside of the chat. It was asked, who can we speak to about not being very active?
So if you were a partner, like for last year, and you weren't active, emails went out to all of the general partners, and it was that if you would like to appeal or to give like rationale for why this happened and to explain, you would need to email Mia Robinson, the elected president of the General Assembly, and you actually need to get that into her by Friday as well. That actually was last Friday, but that was extended, or it can be extended also. So if you email her at gapresident@sicklecellconsortium.org with what happened and why there was active, and if you think maybe you were active but we missed something, if you want to see how the point system worked out, you can email me for more information, and the executive committee can review and decide to grant an exception, although those are quite rare right now. But if there was like a rationale, maybe you were in the hospital most of the year or something like that, all of that can be sent to Mia Robinson.
And we will put her email inside the chat. Thank you for your questions. I actually think that is all the questions that we have inside the chat, Dr. Bailey. But however, okay, I was wondering, how about we play a little game? What do you think? What do you think? Let's do let's do a little what's it called? Like a this or that. Okay?
Okay.
So let's start. Morning rituals, coffee or tea?
Oh, that's hard.
First thing, it's supposed to be the first thing that popped into your head.
Tea.
Tea. Me too. Well, that's because I'm allergic to coffee. So, okay. Travel preferences: adventure trip or relaxing beach vacation?
Relaxing. Right now, relaxing. Not on the beach, but relaxing.
I think adventure trip for me. I went to Vegas and went hiking, so I'm on an adventure kick.
Ooh, hiking in Nevada? You go, girl.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm exhausted thinking about that.
Okay, tech gadgets: smartphone or tablet for on-the-go browsing?
Phone.
Oh, tablet. I need a big screen because sometimes I'm watching videos. Okay, entertainment choice: Netflix binge watch or a good old book?
Book.
Now y'all know that wasn't even a question. What's mine? Everybody knows.
Book. Everybody knows book, but it's a good book. Although a lot of books are online. Like a lot of books are online. You can end up. I mean, I guess it's not the same as still reading a book, but a screen. And a lot of them are free too.
You talking about reading a book online or listening to the book online or watching the movie?
Reading it. I discovered one hospitalization that almost all of the classics in English and French, they're all online for free. A lot of other books, they're all online for free.
Yeah,
and
they are.
Pick what you want to read. And then even if it's not legally online, somebody's downloaded it and you just...
It really is. Because
all of them.
That's how I got Stephanie Myers on Okay. Okay. Music vibes: concerts, live concerts, or playlists at home?
Playlist at home. But okay, somebody just asked a question too. I want us to go to, but music vibes. I would love to go to a live concert. The reality is I've never been to one ever. So I gotta say Playlist at Home.
You ain't never been to a concert? Oh, you shouldn't have told Dominique that. Do you know how many concerts Dominique got been to? Baby,
I
I
know.
love, when I say I love live concerts, especially when the artists actually sound how they sound on their CDs and their albums and stuff. Oh, we going to a live concert. I got you. I got you. I
I've
would
never
say
been to
Usher,
one.
but he sold out really quickly. I ain't like
Mm.
that. Yeah, I ain't like that. Okay, let's go to the question.
Okay, the question was, what books do you recommend?
Ooh. Right now, I am reading. I'm rereading because for some reason, every around a certain time of the year, I need a little Matthew D. Claremont in my life. And so right now, I'm rereading A Discovery of Witches, which is a bit of history. Bear with me, and a bit of sci-fi. So it's like a mixture. It's about demons, vampires, and witches, but it's also about history. They talk about Queen Elizabeth. They literally go back in time to like 1950 something and lived. Like it's really interesting, and it taught me a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a fan of sci-fi too. I love science fiction, young adult novels. I've been reading a lot of more like other things like outside of that genre lately. But and I've got so many books just right here surrounding me all on the desk. But I think my fave is just my get away from the world is science fiction, adventure, young adult literature. I have a series up here, the Beautiful Creatures series that I've been meaning to read, and I'm gonna read. Don't tell me anything. I've got
Okay.
that series, and I have the Ender's Game series right here. So these are the two series that of my young adult literature that I plan to get into next. And I also bought book 2 of I'm blanking. It's also like science fiction, but she really formed it in a lot of the African traditions instead of Greek. And like a lot of sci-fi is based on like Greek but I bought book 2 and I'm blanking right now, and it should be right here, but I don't see it of even the title. But I bought book 2 of that series as well.
Ooh, that's not when you find it. Let me know what that is. I love classics, so I read a lot of the classics. And like Dr. Bailey said, you could find if you joined us for our readathon last year, which this last month, which was lit, and Miss Etta Carter killed it. Her and Miss Carla Colfer, they killed it. We went over. It was so many books, and we learned about so many different books. I'm into classic books. We at the consortium, when we do the readathon, I do provide you guys with a list of websites that provide not only just audio books for free, but also EPUB, which is ePublications. They're on the internet for free as well. So we can also provide you guys with that. But books I'm into classics right now. After I get finished, what's the name? I'm reading The Color Purple. And then I came across The Raisin in the Sun. I don't remember. I know I read it when I say years ago. This has been decades. So I'm saying about 2 decades and a half ago. And so now I need to go back and reread it because for the life of me, I can't remember what it was.
The play, A Raisin in the Sun? Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So I'm doing a lot of the classics. I did Dracula. It's just so many books that you're bound to find a good one. I love autobiographies. I love books about sci-fi. I love romance books. So it's a lot. Now, if you're looking for a good series, I got you. The Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. Now, if you into vampires, okay, it's a little bit different, but you're gonna love it because it's an adult vampire series. It's not a young adult. This is adults, and it's just interesting. And the author has this way to make you fall in love with each of the brothers, no matter how mean and how she has this way to make you fall in love with them, even with their wives and their partners. She has a way to make you just like, dang, I wish this was my family. And y'all know me I always thought sickle cell patients were vampires anyway. Yes. And I'm still hoping there might be some out there, and we're gonna find out later we were. So vampire books will fit me. But if you're looking for an interesting, I say read the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. It's really good. The first one is called Dark Lover. Just listen to the name. But it's good. It's good. All right, so
Sounds
let's
awesome.
go.
You know,
Yeah.
there's one thing we do have a list of the sickle cell reading list, and
You do.
I also have a list that I curated and I put it in the partners. And I need to find it. I put it inside of the sickle cell, the private partners page, but it is a list of books that really get into sickle cell and equality and the medical world and how we fit into it. And when I find that, I'll repost them again because it's been a while since I've posted any of those. But it had a lot of really good books in there that I'd be happy to share. And then of course we've collected the sickle cell library, which is books of adult and children books and young adult books that either are about sickle cell disease. There's even a couple of textbooks in there, or it's by a warrior and caregiver. And so we have that list that we're working on making that public right now. It's very, very extensive. We've gathered a lot of them and we've been giving them out like as prizes or to the children, just sending them an entire library. But if I can find it, I will share those reading lists as well.
And they're really good. I have read the majority. The textbook one is taking me a little bit to get through because it's a textbook, but it is the list is amazing. We have some talented, extremely talented writers in our community, and it's just always great to, like I said, the consortium is always there to support our community and all its endeavors. But there is one book I would say if there's any parents of sickle cell warriors, and I thought about this because of what was discussed the other day about new parents that just found out their kids have sickle cell or whatever. It's called The Private Worlds of Dying Children.
Oh,
It's by Dr. Myra Bluebond Langer. She was my professor in school. And I remember reading this book. And I just remember thinking, dang, I wish my aunt had this book when I was growing up. So she kind of understood why I kept so much from her, because it was like a perspective. You see all of it from like the children's who are sick and in the hospital eyes, but you also see it from the parents too. But it's such a clarity, and it was such a good. I took a death and dying class in college, so I got really into those books. But that was like one book that opened up a lot for me with understanding my aunt, but also wishing I had this book when I was younger. So
wow.
yeah,
That is fabulous. I don't know that one. I read like On Death and Dying and things like that, but The Private World, that sounds fantastic. I mean, that
really
title is a lot.
it really was like, but it's a tearjerker because you see how the little boy, and I just remember doing that as a young kid. I would lie and say, no, I'm not in pain. Just because I know what my aunt was going through, how she had to go to work and everything. And so, yeah, it's a really good book. But we can definitely make sure that we share these lists with you guys of the books. And we're also working on collecting books from our international sickle cell warriors as well. That was one of the things that was asked of us during the readathon. Do we have any international authors and books in other languages about sickle cell? And so we're working on getting those as well. So yes, it's going to be good, and we'll make sure we share that with you guys as well. Okay, so back to the this or that question, Dr. Bailey. Okay, I still got to take you to a concert though. I'm not over that, but I'm gonna move on. Okay, fitness styles: gym workout or outdoor run?
Outdoor run.
Neither. I look like working out. It's like I do yoga. Okay, fashion sense: classic style or latest trend?
Classic style, probably. Honestly, mine is neither. I have no fashion sense. I usually go to somebody else to help me find my clothes.
She's not lying.
Dominique, I'm not even lying. Dominique knows.
No.
I'm like, should I wear this? This is what I have to do. This is where I'm going. Dominique taught me how to keep my curls curly when my hair is straight. Neither for me, but it's usually.
You're more classic style, Dr. Bailey.
So
you're more classic. You're not with like the latest trends at all. I'm not like that neither. I don't care for like the latest trends. I saw my brother and his wife in like these alien shoes when we were on vacation, and I said, "What in the heck do you got on your feet, bro?" And then he told me how much they cost, and I looked at him like, it looked like your nephew, matter of fact, not even your nephew, your son, your 2-year-old son, took some rubber, burnt it, and said, "Here, daddy, here go a candle," and you put it on your foot. Okay? So I'm not with the latest pros at all, especially not for no $400. Talking about some of the Yeezys. They look like nosies, but okay. Culinary delights, homemade meal or dine out experience.
Dine out. I love to cook. But a good dine out experience, that is everything. And I heard somebody say once that, and I'm the same way. Like when it comes to clothes, what we just talked about, is it worth it? Can I work it? Can I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it? But I will easily spend a good $100 on a meal or more on a good meal. That's my thing right there. But when it comes to clothes, I'm like, yeah.
I'm the same way. I like to cook. I cook at home. I love to cook. I'm more of a baker than a cooker, but I could cook. I could throw down in the kitchen. I love to bake though. It's something about baking. Now, dining out, if you give me and I'm talking about like the whole fine dining experience type situation, I'm willing to spend a pretty penny on that and not have to cook. I'll do that.
Same. It's a shame how much I'm willing to spend on a good meal. And my cousin teases me because I went out someplace and I got this delicious meal. And then I had to hop on a plane and then I had to go somewhere else. And she talks about how that meal was packed up and it went to 3 different states with me because I was going to eat that meal. I don't care how many planes we had to catch.
When we were in Tennessee, I brought some ribs back from Tennessee because, baby, them bad boys was banging. I ain't never, when I said I mean never. And my aunt could throw down in the kitchen, but it was something about them ribs. I ate me a full stack then, and I told them pack me up another one. Took that bad boy on the plane with me and went home.
Yeah.
Told it up.
Same.
So I get it, and I'll go like 2 hours out of my way for a good meal.
Same.
Yeah,
same. I absolutely will. It's okay. We'll get there eventually, and then I'm going to enjoy myself.
Okay, leisurely activities: museum visit or stroll in the park.
Museum visit.
I don't know, because I like to people watch. I could do that in a museum and still learn, but it's something about people watching people in a park. It's different because they out in the open and they don't think people can see them, so they act more natural, as opposed to in a museum where they're like sedated and secluded and they're not trying to do anything. Because when you're in people watching in the park, you'll see people do some of the weirdest and random stuff. So I might have to say, walk in the park.
See, the problem here is you're asking me to leave my home and go outside, and there's people out there. That's like a lot of people in you asking me to do with either of these. But if I'm going to do one, then at least I'll deal with people and not bugs.
Gotcha.
I love people watching too. And it's interesting in airports because I usually get the wheelchair. And when you're in a wheelchair, everyone sees you. Like everyone notices you, but no one sees you. No one wants, because it's rude. Don't make eye contact. Don't stare. So they all notice you, but no one sees you. And it's a very interesting experience sitting in that wheelchair in international airports and just watching. I've come to the conclusion that there's only about 1,500 different people in the entire world. And we're all just variations of that same base 1,500 people. Like you sit in these and you realize the only difference between this lady and the lady in the airport a week ago was this one is Indian and Muslim. And that one was most likely conservative Christian based on, but everything else is the same. Or like, we're all the same. Yeah. I have come to this conclusion from people watching that we are not that different. Okay, let me add one more thing. Do y'all remember early video games when you first got started in role-playing games and online video games, there weren't many choices. Like maybe you could change your hair color and the change of your shirt and the shoes. And so the chances of running into your exact same avatar over and over and over again in early video games was very, very high because there wasn't many choices to diversify your character. That's what it reminds me of. There are only but so many choices to diversify, and we're all the same set of people over and over. It just depends on where we happened to have been born. What part of the world you born in is the only thing that seems to make a difference. And there's like 1,500 base people in the world. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's just a random thing that I think about.
That's that popular, y'all. Okay, so here's another one. Social media, Instagram stories or TikTok videos?
TikTok.
TikToks. And let me tell y'all who fault it is why I'm addicted to TikTok videos. Miss Sharonda and Dr. Bailey, okay? During COVID, I was just sitting up there minding my business, bored, going out of my mind. And then all of a sudden they say, you ain't got TikTok? No, I never even heard of TikTok. What's TikTok? Oh, you got to go on TikTok. Then the next thing I know, I went down a rabbit hole. 4 days later, popped up. They're like, Dominique, we ain't heard from you in like a couple of days. What you been doing? TikTok videos.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm addicted to TikTok videos. It's Dr. Bailey and Sharonda's fault.
TikTok was good during that pandemic. TikTok was fantastic.
It really
I fell into so many different worlds in TikTok. I haven't really been on it a lot lately, but during that pandemic, that was fantastic.
I get a lot of the real news from TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Not the stuff that the political propaganda that they want to put out. Like I get the real stuff.
Yeah.
From TikTok, from people who are actually there, experience it, have gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's from I get it from TikTok. And it's good. But Size always talking about why you watch TikTok so much. It's nothing but a flowing head. But he don't do nothing but watch YouTube. How TikTok is nothing but a flowing head.
And how is YouTube different? It's just a longer form content TikTok.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, hey,
Sharonda.
Hi, ladies. This has been a great conversation. I love the rapid fire questions. Thank you so much, Dr. Bailey, for answering those questions. Those are really fun. I know we get a chance to get to know Dr. Bailey a little bit more when we ask those type of questions. So, you ladies did such a great job. And all of the information about being a partner, what credentialing is, you guys got all of that tonight. Woohoo! Now, again, just going back, wrapping it back around. February 16th. That is the deadline for those that would like what, Dominique? Financial what?
I forgot the word. For us.
You were supposed to be working with me. What is happening?
I was, but then you caught me off
support for the Leadership Summit. Yay! That is February 16th. But please know that it is ongoing, so you can become a partner at any time. And my friends that are on Instagram, I saw that you guys are asking questions over there, and one of the main questions was, are we still accepting partners? And the answer is absolutely yes. We are still accepting partners this week, next week, and the week after. So if you want to please partner with the consortium, the link is scrolling on the bottom of this screen. My Vanna Black is down here, is down there. Yes, it's down there. So thank you guys so much for doing it. Now, Dr. Bailey, I have one last question for you.
Yes.
If you had to give a warrior, an advocate, or anyone some advice about becoming a partner with the Sickle Cell Consortium, what would that be?
Some advice about becoming a partner? I think the advice I would give is that I do recognize that partnership might not be for everyone. If you are looking for a way to be active and to be directly involved in projects for the sickle cell space, if you are looking for a way to add your voice to creating solutions to different projects, if you have project ideas that you want to give an opportunity to have a lot of people working on together, this is absolutely the group for you. But you don't have to do all that to be a good advocate. If you want to not do any of that, this might not be the best group for you, but there are still ways to connect with the different things that we do and to come out to the different events. The consortium, however, is for those of you looking to be actively involved. And then you have to take that step because we provide all of it, but you have to take that step to show up to meetings, to find out what's going on, to submit your idea to the docket, to come to the convention, to grab me and say, hey, I want to talk to you, or somebody on the team. You do have to make that initiative because we can't do it for you, but we can provide all the opportunities for you to do it for yourself. I think that's the advice. If that's something you want, then please come and join us, because the more hands, the reason the consortium, as young as we are, has been able to do as much as we have and involved in as much is because of our partners, because there's so many of you that are actively working in various areas so that we can get a lot done at once. And I think that's the advice. If you want to be active, join us as we are ready for it. If you are active but something is going on, I'd also advise you to communicate that. I've been pretty sick, and we had people that say, I actually really wanted to be, but this is what happened. And we're very open and understand, because we all have sickle cell. We all do, or are raising a loved one or married to someone. Every single one of us on the staff on through are either a warrior or a caregiver. So we definitely get what it looks like to live with this disease.
Absolutely. And I think that is a great way to end this live one tonight. That was great advice. And I ditto that, all of that, because she's right. If you do not want to be in the advocacy space, we have so many other things that you can do. We have the Warriors Convention, the Caregiver Summit, June 19th. Like, we do a lot for this entire community, but we absolutely try to make sure that our leaders in this space are well trained and that we're working together to actually tackle the needs and gaps of this community. So thank you again, Dr. Bailey, for joining us and for sharing all of that. And thank you guys for joining us and giving us those questions. Now, this live will stay up on our page. So if you still have questions, even after hearing about all of the great things or learning about how you can become a partner, if you still have questions, please put those questions in the chat. Our media team is looking at that chat. They're looking at social media. So please make sure that you are asking those questions, because we'll be glad to answer you. We love Dr. Bailey, and we thank Miss Dominique for coming in and doing those rapid fire questions. I know I just wanted something super fun so that we can get to know Dr. Bailey and another side of what the consortium is offering. We offer loads of education, but we also offer so much fun, so much connecting, so much community. And we wanted you guys to be able to see both sides of what we do here at the consortium. So that's it for us. We don't have anything else. I will say that creative content is coming up. Woo woo. That is also a partner perk or a partner benefit, that you are able to come to creative content. That starts next week. I know that some of you have already started to register for it, so make sure you are continuing to do that, because once we start, we are on the road. It is super amazing. And like Dr. Bailey said, and I think Dominique did talk about, next generation, we got a lot happening for you guys this year as well, so be on the lookout for that. Next generation, I cannot wait to see y'all at the meetings. We absolutely love you guys. Dr. Bailey's, one of her favorite things is next generation. We always put up those flyers because Dr. Bailey, she loves the kids, and I tell you,
I genuinely think it's probably my most favorite thing is the next gen and the children's track at the convention, and just, it's a lot of them. If you've ever been to a convention, you are stepping over kids, and we've got a full daycare, and it's not like just 2 or 3 small people in the daycare, because we also offer free daycare during convention. It's a lot of kids in that room. Like, we low-key needed a bigger room last year, and
very much so.
It's a lot of families, and I just love it. I love that they form friendships. I love that they stay friends. I just love it. My nephew is always asking about Sharonda's nephew and wanting to play video games, and just, I don't know. I just love it so much to see all of these children. And one of the early conventions we did, it wasn't that early. It was like 2019. We've been doing this since I think 2014 or something like that. But one of those conventions, there was a young person drawing, and they drew this thing and they had captioned the drawing at the table. I love being part of this world where sickle cell is normal. And I just, I loved that so much. I think I might have sent a photo of the drawing, and it just, I don't know. I mean, anyway, I could go on because it's one of my favorite things. And sometimes the kids do like little shows, or they would come back up and sing. I don't know. I love that we are creating this space for the next generation as well.
Yeah, I love it too. And one of the things that I loved about this last year is that the kids that we met in 2019 are now teenagers, and in their like their little spaces and bubbles in their own little parts of the world, when they came together during the Warriors Convention, it was like no time had passed. And they were hanging out with each other so much so that I have teenagers that I was like, so where are y'all? Get room. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's time to go to bed. And they were like the relationships, like you said, Dr. Bailey. It's not just for the smaller kids and the ones that are, let's play like Legos. And these are kids that's like teenagers hanging out, talking about football, talking about the things that they're doing in school, and they're really talking to each other. And one person from one of the next generation kids was like asking their father, hey, can we move to Texas, or can we move to such and such so that I can be around my sickle cell friends? And I was like, oh, that was so amazing. And he was so upset. He was like, no, Dad, because they were supposed to be leaving like on Saturday. He was like, no, we need to stay until Sunday. No, we need to stay until Monday. He was like, yeah, I gotta get back to work. But it was such a joy to see that not only the little ones, but our transitioning age, next generation, fostering these relationships and building community with us, but really without us. And they have their own conversations. They're in their own world. And I think that is I think that's why Dr. Bailey feels so strongly about the kids, not just because it's the children, but because we are actually building community for these kids that they've never seen before. Oh yeah.
I love it so much.
It is great. All right. So we are at time now. So I don't, we can sit here and talk all day, which we do in our meetings. So we do. So we have a lot of work to do and get to. So I do want to say thank you again to everyone that has joined us. Hi, Elle. I see that you just joined us. But hello to everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. But we are going to sign off now. Tell you thank you so much for all of you guys for just supporting us and being a part of this community. And we cannot wait to see new partners and our returning partners at the Leadership Summit. But if you just decide that this is the community that you want to be a part of, don't forget to register. And don't forget to credential and become a partner with the Sickle Cell Consortium. We would love to have you. And I think that is it. Anything last words you want to say, Dr. Bailey or Dominique, before we play our little commercial at the end?
No. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to connecting with you. And if this isn't your jam, we still hope you'll come to the convention, and it's going to be in Atlanta. Very, very excited about it. And we hope to see you all there. What I was thinking about as you were talking, Sharonda, is we had run of house of that hotel. There were hundreds of us, hundreds, plural, of warriors that came out in Houston, Texas, and we move around. We're in Atlanta, and I just, I think it's important to experience that. So thank you for all of you that come, and we have some people that just come every single year. Yeah, we're looking forward to it every year. But yeah, you've got me thinking about it because I love it so much. But anyhow, this is about credentialing. Partner, come on. We'll see you in April 10th to the 14th.
Yes.
In Atlanta, Georgia, and Buckhead, and we are going to have the Leadership Summit. And it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. And stay connected with us. So if you have not liked or you're not following us at the Sickle Cell Consortium, make sure you do so now, because there's going to be a lot of information about the convention, upcoming convention as well, and you do not want to miss the notifications.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.